Hey, NerdSing here, and we are now in the autumn or the fall of 2018, which means Apple have released their new iPhone or iPhones. And so in this video, I would like to share with you that update from Apple, what they've released in a summarized version to the best of my ability. We'll go through the specs. We'll also have a look at the new Apple Watch that they've released, and I will share my opinion on it. So let's get straight into it. Hope you learned something and enjoy the video. So we have the iPhone XS, which is essentially a slightly better version of the iPhone X, which came out last year. We have a iPhone XS Max, which is a slightly better version of the iPhone X, but also slightly bigger. I don't know why they're calling it Max. It's been called Plus in the past. No idea on that one. And the third phone they've released is an iPhone XR, which you could say is the smaller brother of the iPhone X. It looks the same, the button isn't there, it has this similar kind of design, but it has slightly lower specs. So let's compare these three devices spec-wise and move on from there. Cool, so I've got my MacBook here. I have the Apple website open. They have a feature on there called Compare iPhone Models. So you can follow this. I'll leave the link in the description. Forgive me for my lack of commitment to the channel to memorize all this information, but I thought just for the speed of it, I will refer to the website. You can follow along and we'll go through the stats. Okay, so we've got the iPhone XS, which I said is the slightly better version of the iPhone X. That's now available in silver, space gray, and a new color, gold. The iPhone XS Max, the bigger brother of the XS, is available in those same three colors. So then we've got the iPhone XR, which is the smaller brother of the iPhone X. That phone is cheaper and it's available in these funky colors. So you got blue, white, black, yellow, coral, and a product red. And if you head over to MKB HD's channel after watching this video, then he has those phones in person, so you can actually get an idea for what they actually look like. Sorry, I couldn't buy them all and show you them today. So the iPhone XR is essentially a smaller brother, right? It's smaller spec, it's cheaper, and it reminds me of the iPhone 5C, which came out kind of as a more affordable alternative to the flagship phone that they brought out at that time. It must have been the 5S maybe. The iPhone X Max has a bigger screen, and it has the same type of screen, the Super Retina HD display, so it's very high quality, what you see on the iPhone X at the moment. And the XR is a liquid retina, so it's slightly lesser, it's a lesser quality of resolution. So that's why essentially it's cheaper, and there's a bit more of a bezel on it because they cannot bend that type of glass. Okay, so the XS and the XS Max both have a dual camera system, one of them being a wide angle lens and the other being a telephoto lens, so you can do these kind of portrait mode type things. And then the XR only has one camera. So if you're an avid photographer, maybe you'll prefer the dual camera system. However, do consider the new software that Apple have developed for the portrait mode type feature, where you can, through software and editing, evoke kind of a bokeh effect and a depth of field effect just through software, even with the XR. So that's something to look out for. On the front, they all have the same 7 megapixel camera, so nothing different there. Face ID has been improved on the whole from the previous iteration last year. All of them have the new A12 Bionic chip with next generation neural engine. I mean, if you watch the full length feature, you can learn about the increase in performance. I mean, it's all we can say about it is that it will be a tad faster than the previous iteration, which of course you'd expect. On to water resistance now. All three of the phones are water resistant. They all have an IP rating. IP means ingress protection, and it's an international standard which manufacturers within their design have to certify, or they can certify their design and their finished kind of product to certify that it's absolutely able to withstand a certain depth of water for a certain period of time. So the new iPhone XS and the XS Max are ingress protected to IP68, which says there's 2 meters, and the younger brother, the XR, 1 meter for 30 minutes. All 3 of these new iPhone Xs have wireless charging, which is good that they've got that feature. It was in this iPhone X from last year. So in terms of capacity, you can get the XS and the XS Max up to half a terabyte now, 512 gigabytes. But the XR you can only get up to 256 gigabytes, so there's a bit of a difference there. Moving down, what do we have here? So again, I mentioned the Retina display, slightly less quality. If you look in the pixels there, the PPI pixels per inch, that's less, and your contrast ratio is less. So that's essentially where the cost saving is, you could say. Okay, on to cameras. So for the avid photographers there that do mobile photography, if you get the XS Max, I've already said this, you're going to get the dual camera system, which is quite popular for phones that are coming out kind of in this generation, with a wide angle of 1.8 and the telephoto having a 2.4 aperture, and then they can be used together you can have optical zoom and that kind of thing. And then on the XR, you just have the 12 megapixel wide angle lens, so that only offers you a digital zoom up to 5x. But they both have the live photos feature and this kind of depth control thing I was talking about with software, so they all offer that. It's a software feature. I wonder if it'll be available in the current iPhone X. I guess it will be. So that's photo. Now on to video recording. From what I can see from this table, they can all record up to 4K, 60 frames per second, which is what this iPhone X can do, I think. The only difference is the digital zoom, because the iPhone XR doesn't have 2 cameras. So there's only that difference there. And on the front camera, it's the same camera, right? So there's no difference when it comes to filming selfie mode. Okay, so now into mobile and the wireless section. Now these are terms that I'm not so familiar with, but something exciting about this new iteration is this dual SIM capability, and it's using something called an eSIM. So I've looked into this a little bit. It's a new technology and essentially allows you to have 2 mobile numbers in your phone. So the potential for this is great. You could have a personal kind of number and a work number, which you could switch between, or it could be useful for, say you were traveling, then you could put a local pay-as-you-go SIM with data rather than having to roam from your home country. So that's cool as well. There are limited networks that are offering this and limited countries too. So I think this is a developing technology at the moment. Something that I would really be interested in, and it's at this point I'll take an interest in this technology, is when specifically the apps like WhatsApp create some sort of system where it's like WhatsApp for work, where you can connect 2 numbers to the same WhatsApp. Imagine this, all your groups related to work or study or something like that, you can turn off. And then when you're out of hours of work, then you just have the groups. It's basically an advanced muting system, because mute doesn't work for me really. I still see the messages when I'm in WhatsApp. I still want to have a peek and end up getting bogged down in work even when I'm on holiday. So once WhatsApp offers something like that, or Apple do something like that, that would be awesome. I know Android, you're able to duplicate apps, so you could have 2 WhatsApps running at the same time from different numbers. But unfortunately Apple don't offer that kind of capability to duplicate apps and that kind of thing. So once something like that is available, then you can really separate work and personal life, then I think the dual SIM could be really quite something. But for the travelers out there who want to have 2 numbers, or the people who spend more time on the phone and don't need to have 2 phones and could just use one, then that's a huge thing that Apple have done, and it's good that they're moving towards that. I mean, I think the only other phone kind of flagship or most current phone that are doing that are OnePlus, I think. Okay, so just scrolling through this now. security authentication, Face ID has seen a small improvement, so that will be faster when you log in. As usual, you know, Apple are improving things, that's fine. When it comes to video calling, audio playback, video playback, it's fine really. I don't see anything kind of mega exciting. Siri, probably small improvement, still like, I just use it like ad hoc. I don't know about you guys. Okay, so with the iPhones you get the AirPods with a lightning connector, so they haven't put the 3.5mm headphone jack back in, much to my surprise. But maybe they're just trying to promote wireless technology or something, I don't know. But yeah, no change on that side. And that's about it. So I've already spoken about the SIM card, so that's at the bottom of this list. And now let's have a look at pricing. Okay, so I couldn't find a comparison table for prices. Might be there that I just couldn't find it, but I've written it up and here are the prices. So if you want the iPhone XS, which is basically the fancier version of this, same size, 64GB is 1K, so I'm talking in pounds here. 256GB, so unfortunately they don't have the 128 anymore. That's £1,150. And then if you want half a terabyte, 512GB, that's £1,350. If you want the bigger brother of this, the iPhone XS Max, the big version, the plus version, 64GB is 1100, 256GB is 1250, and half a terabyte, 512GB, 1450. And then the XR, the kind of less spec version, if you want 64GB, that's 750, so that's quite a bit cheaper. 128GB, so you can get 128 in this version, that's 800, and then the 256GB, that's 900. So those are the prices, and the reason I'm making this video is that my friends have been asking me, what do you think of the update, which one should I get? And I'm not overly impressed by this update, but it is the S kind of version. That's the year we're in at the moment, where they just do an incremental improvement of specs and they don't do a full design change. So I would say that if you have less than an iPhone 10 and you wish to upgrade, then it's worth it, and it's based on what you can afford. If you currently have an iPhone 10, I wouldn't say it's worth it unless you used to have a Plus model and you're desperate for the XS Max, where it's a bigger screen. Say if you have big hands, I have tiny hands, but if you have big hands and you need a bigger keyboard, then that might be viable for you. And if you're looking for something affordable, say you're moving to iPhone from Android, I don't know why you would, to be honest. Like, the Note 9 looks awesome. I have everything Apple, as I've spoken about before, so I'm kind of stuck in the system. But you know, if you wanted to move across, then quite affordable is the iPhone XR, and the only thing you're not really getting is the cameras. I forgot to mention as well, the XR doesn't have Force Touch. That's it's called 3D Touch now, where you press in, you get extra menus, but I think they will have that feature available. It's just activated by a long press. So that's another thing. It's obviously because of the screen design, I'm guessing. There is one more thing, where if you buy your phones outright and have a SIM-only deal, despite the incremental increase that doesn't warrant being overly excited by these updates, the depreciation of phones, because they're coming out so often, is huge. And sometimes it can be beneficial to sell your phone if it's current for a decent price, take the hit for an incremental update, and just keep up with technology. And this is what I usually do, because it means that then I have a new phone every year. It means that I'm not keeping a phone too long. The risk of scratches, dropping it, etc. kind of decrease. And so I'm selling a newish phone that doesn't have much damage to it. It's kind of as new, and people don't mind having it. If you're somebody who's looking for a bargain, now's a good time to buy an iPhone 10. So, you know, because everyone's looking to get rid of one probably so that they can upgrade. So there you have it, that's the new 3 iPhones. Hope that helped. Now let's have a look at the Apple Watch. So now we're on Series 4, the 4th iteration of the Apple Watch. Now that watch I'm wearing is Series 2. I didn't bother to update, but let's just compare the Series 3 to the Series 4. I mean, the whole point of this video is to keep it brief so you understand what the update is. Of course, you can go on the Apple website and you can watch the full, however it is, 2-3 hour video of them releasing all this. So let's get straight into it. Again, I'm just going to read it off the website. So essentially, it has a GPS, it now has a SIM card. You can do walkie-talkie, you can phone from it without your phone, so that's quite cool. So now the screen is slightly bigger. You can get a 40mm or a 44mm case rather than 38 and 42. They made it thinner, they've made it faster, so that's a new processor now, 64-bit dual core, so that's quite impressive. But naturally you would expect, you know, in a generation change for it to get faster. It's got more sensors now, so they're going more towards, you know, more on the health flex, you know, like more features with regards to monitoring your heart rate. It's got something called fall detection as well, which is quite interesting. Check that out. And the digital crown now has haptics, so that's quite cool. Now you can get the Series 4 in a stainless steel finish. And it comes in silver, space black, and the new gold color, which the new iPhone XS's come in. And as for features, as we just scroll through this list, we've got the electrical heart sensor, so that's on the health kind of flex, and Bluetooth 5.0, so that'll mean better connectivity with your phone when you're using them together. Okay, so on the prices, they do actually have a cool filter feature on their website. I'll leave a link for that in the description. So first of all, you choose what connectivity you want, whether it's GPS or GPS and cellular, so it has the SIM card in it. And then whether you want aluminium or stainless steel. The stainless steel is only available if you get the cellular. So depending on what strap you want, the sport strap being the cheapest, it starts from £400, and then of course, you know, anything from £400 up, you can go for the designer Hermes watch, which is like £1,400, you know, with the different straps and that. So that's the Apple Watch update. I know I don't sound so excited about it. It's just like, it's just another incremental update really, and even with the watch, it's moving forwards, but nothing that I'm generally too excited about. If you don't have an Apple Watch and you fancy one, then definitely go for it. If you have a 3 and you're desperate to have cellular in your watch, then maybe you could consider it. But otherwise, I won't be updating from my Series 2 probably anytime soon. I might sell this and upgrade to the iPhone XS or the XS Max just for the depreciation thing that we talked about before. But otherwise, that's the update for this fall, this autumn from Apple, and I'll be back with another video from NerdSing soon. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. NerdSing out.